Welcome back to another episode of Free the Plant, Free the People. I'm your host, Valerie, and you know Free the Plant, Free the People is presented by BluRok Farms. Today, we have another amazing episode, and I know all you foodies out there are going to be really, really delighted and should I say deliciously excited to hear this episode, because today's episode's topic is cannabis and edibles. And we have a special guest, which I consider an expert in this area. So let's kick it off, and let me introduce my guest. We have Valerie Otero of Big Ass Cookies, who is a baker and has a company that makes infused edibles or infused products. So let's take a listen and let's know a little bit about you. So
hi everybody, my name is Valerie Otero. I am a lifelong resident of New Mexico. I am the owner, creator, lead baker of Big Ass Cookies by Otero Lane. We were established in 2022.
Okay.
We kind of came out of the pandemic, I'm not gonna lie. So I've been cooking, making tamales for 20 years. Okay. It became as a way for me to supplement my income as a single mom. I have three wonderful boys, Aiden, Gavin, and Dalen.
Okay.
And they are all part of the business as well. That's why it's called Big Ass Cookies by Otero Lane. My last name is Otero, and they have their dad's last name, which is Lane. So that's how the name came about. Awesome. And then during the pandemic, I just like everybody else, everybody slowed down. Everybody had to face a lot of challenges within the pandemic. I was lucky I did not lose anybody during the pandemic, but I lost a lot of friendships due to some negative things that I did not see with my negative or with my naked eye, and now I was forced to see all this stuff. Plus, I was also forced to face every challenge, every trauma that I had been through life, and it became very depressing, very anxiety stricken.
Oh, wow.
My kids were the same way. Everybody was like going through this negative, and I didn't know how to help. Me and my son started watching the Food Network, Halloween Wars, Cooking Wars, whatever. We also watch Chopped 420 all the time.
Yeah, I watch that too. I love that show.
Yes, and so it became this thing that I was like, I've never really been into baking, but I really want to do this. Then my sister gave me this cookbook about big cookies, and I was like, let me try making these. I don't know. And then something in me sparked.
Wow.
Something, my inner child was awoken. Her spirit was like, let's bake.
Gotcha.
Let's make some messes in the kitchen. I was never allowed to make messes in the kitchen other than cooking and stuff like that. And that's kind of how Big Ass Cookies came out of a depressive state,
Gotcha.
out of a negative situation, and now we're here.
I mean, but it shows your tenacity, because you're taking that negative situation and you turn it into something positive.
Absolutely.
A lot of people had those issues during COVID because it was a time of reflection. It gave people, and a lot of people had the opposite effect of you. They went spiraling downwards instead of trying to motivate themselves to move upwards. Yes. So like I said, that says a lot about you and your character, and how you're parenting as well, because your kids are seeing you take that negative situation and turn it into a positive. That's a teaching moment as well, you know. So I like I said, it just really tells me a lot about your character and your personality to combat that like that.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up, and every day that I do this business, I want to give up. It's not easy. It's not.
No, it's not.
Owning your own business is not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not.
Sleepless nights, lots of weeks where I get no sleep. There's times where we make no sales, and and you go home and you have to put a smile on your face and act like everything's okay, and we come out in the end. So yeah.
I mean, that speaks to like entrepreneurship, which we talked about on the show before. It isn't easy, because if it was easy, everybody would do it. Yes. One, entrepreneurship at one point was about 15% of the population here. So that's a low percentage. And that low percentage tells you that it's not easy, because again, like I said, if it was easy, more people would be in it. The percentage would be higher.
Yes.
And then taking into effect the pandemic, things of that situation, that made retail a lot even harder than it was before, because retail stores aren't producing the same revenue that they were prior.
Exactly.
So that's something else to keep in mind in this current climate. But the resilient ones will make it. You just have to keep pushing. That is but again, it's also the fact that you have to be confident in the product that you're producing.
Yes.
And so that's kind of what I want to get into now is, since we talked about your entrepreneurial spirit and how you kind of got to that point through the negative aspects of COVID, what landed you on infusing products, one, and then two, of what inspires you to make the recipes that you do? Because I see the cookies that you make, and that I saw at the event that I initially met you at,
Yes.
which was a Black Owned Buds event, which is helping people connect and network, which has served the purpose. So that was an organization that I was president of last year, and that I helped co-found as well. So I'm glad to see that it's producing things of connecting people, which
Yes.
was the true intention when me, Babsy, and Frank founded it. That was one of the aspects that we wanted to cultivate. So I'm glad to hear that. But everybody was really enjoying your cookies. What I see is they're not your just average cookies. So again, I want to just kind of phrase that to you of like what inspired these recipes and what inspired the infusion aspect of it.
I'm a cannabis user. I actually have a lot of ailments. I have fibromyalgia. I have chronic pain every day. I have probably undiagnosed things. I also have ADHD, which has been diagnosed. And so all of these things take factor into life. Like some days I would not be able to get out of bed.
Wow.
And cannabis helped me through that. Cannabis sought me through. Cannabis became a medicine for me, just like many others. And that's the thing, it's a medicine. It's not a drug, it's a medicine.
Exactly.
And so I was totally against cannabis for a long time, I'm not going to lie. And that's probably because I was going into nursing, and as a nurse, you cannot.
Yeah.
So you cannot use cannabis, no matter if it's, I don't know, maybe when it is legalized federally, maybe, if at some point. But that was one of the things, is because I was also trying to get to a different level in life. And then I decided, let me try this. Somebody talked to me and said, let's try cannabis. And so it became something where I was able to literally get out of bed. Because some days I just am and I have those days still, okay? So, because cannabis doesn't cure all,
it's not a cure. It helps. It's a relieving aspect. It's an alleviating product that can help alleviate symptoms.
Yes.
Eventually, I believe that we will get to the point where we isolate enough of these cannabinoids that we will get to the point where we can start curing some of these incurable and difficult diseases and disorders and viruses. So that's just my opinion. But
so during the pandemic, we were trying to figure out what could work, what could I do next, what was I going to go back to a regular job, this and that. And so we had started infusing. I bought a Levo machine during the pandemic, and so it seemed really simple. I was really worried, because you're always really worried about ruining that flower.
Yeah, because you spend money on it.
Yes, it's not cheap,
Yeah,
And so I have a friend that was growing it in his backyard, and so I said, hey, can I get some of that good stuff? And so we started infusing it, and then we started trying it out, and it was working really good. And so we are very freshly new to the infused market. We started about January selling to the public. We were using it in our home personal use only, and then perfecting my recipes, trying to get them
trial
accurate.
and error.
Yes, and I'm not perfect. I'm still not perfect. In fact, I don't have the best machines in the world, and I'm in the process of getting that all worked out to where I can have the exact measurements and have the exact number and have the right amount of THC that's in each.
The dosage properly.
Exactly. So, and so it became something. And then I have fun flavors. I go again. I lead with my inner child. She's always working. We go to the grocery store. We stand in the cookie aisle. We stand in the candy aisle. We stand in the cereal aisle. And then she comes up with these amazing, and I say she because she still lives, she still exists with inside me. Don't think I'm crazy. But she is me, she is part of me, and so she comes up with these amazing recipes, or something will come up, or I'll watch baking shows, and I'll come up with ideas where, like, especially the Food Network, they use fun combinations of basil and tomato,
Yeah.
and I'm like, can I make a cookie like that?
Let's
Somebody
see.
made a
Let's try
cookie.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun because not only can I infuse cannabis within my machines, I can infuse anything: basil, rosemary,
Yeah.
and all of these are healing plants within the industry. And I know we
Yeah.
are just talking about cannabis today, but they all have their healing benefits. And
Yeah, no, we talk about all because again, I teach a cultivation class where we teach people how to grow, and I tell them the same thing in the class is what I'm teaching you is I'm teaching you how and the whys behind it.
yes,
And so these same principles, if you know how to propagate a plant, if you know how to propagate cannabis, you can propagate a tomato, you can propagate herbs, you can propagate basil, lavender, so many things. There's some plants that can be cloned in the same way that you would clone a cannabis plant. But if you understand, again, the why behind it, you can get very close enough so you can start propagating and doing these other, if you know how to germinate a cannabis seed, you know how to germinate any plant seed.
Yes.
It's the same process. So it's taking that and expanding it about. And I think it's important that we do that because it not only takes the stigma away from cannabis and it puts it in the same realm that we should be putting these other that it is with these other plants. Cannabis is no different to me in my viewpoint than basil, than lavender, than thyme,
I
than
agree.
sage.
I agree.
So
And the thing about it is, we get those vitamin pills from Walgreens or Walmart or wherever. I don't know what's in them.
and they're not and those supplements aren't regulated.
Yeah.
They're not regulated by the FDA. They're not regulated by the US Department of Agriculture either. So
And
you
now-
really don't know what's in there.
And now Walgreens and Walmart are starting to carry CBD products
Yep.
and THC products. And again, I don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
I
and-
don't know what they've added to them, and hopefully,
Yeah.
they're doing things ethically.
Hopefully.
But
Yeah.
not everything's done ethically. So
What one thing I did want to say is, which we can talk online, is I do know there's an equation that you can do to determine or to figure out the potency of it without having those machines and everything like
Yes.
that. And I can break that down for you.
okay,
So,
and some people
offline.
have, and that's why we always say ours have 1,000 milligrams, and that's because those people talked to people and they've helped me break them down. Have I taken it to a lab and had it tested? No, I have not. But I follow my recipe to a T because you have to follow it to a T. I always add a little extra because these are big cookies,
Yeah.
and I know you guys can kind of see what these are. They're big. They weigh 14 ounces to a pound each.
Wow.
And so they have a lot of product within them, and when you put everything together, it kind of gets watered down a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Diluted,
when you
yeah.
when you put salt in anything, the same thing. It gets diluted within it. So that's why you keep having to season as you bake or cook or whatever it might be.
Gotcha. So I wanted to, now that we kind of got an idea of like how you come up with your recipes and what's the behind the inspiration of the company, where do you see your company and your brand going? Let's say in the next 5 years.
In the next 5 years, I hope to have grown. I hope to have been able to hire more help, hire more bakers, maybe where I'm a little more behind the scenes as in front of the camera, I should say, where I can teach my kids the importance of running your own business, which my youngest son is actually my manager, and the other two, my middle son did have his own job, so he was working that, but now he's working pretty much full time for me, and then my other son, he has his own life and stuff like that. But but I also want to help other people. I want to help specifically women, single moms that are looking for their way out of a dead-end job, working for somebody else and working for yourself. And if that's working for me and you go off and create your own company, that's what it's intended for. It's for you to be able to do your own thing. I hope that you'll see us more around the Albuquerque, New Mexico area. Maybe you'll see us all over the country. I don't know. I mean, that would get kind of crazy. And I joke with my kids all the time, so you may be cookie moguls one day.
Yeah.
And that would be amazing. But just getting my name out there, people knowing who we are and what we stand for, and the fact that I want to help others, that this isn't just a job to help me and my kids, it's to help others as well. So, and with that being the cannabis industry as well. So, but also teach people how to do this. It's a learning opportunity as well, and maybe, I don't know, maybe teach baking one day, teach classes. I would love to be able to get you all into a kitchen together, and we can learn some of these recipes, or we can learn some of my other recipes, because I'm a pretty darn good cook. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, maybe we branch out to other aspects of, have the bakery as well as the restaurant and
yes,
that'd be amazing. Other products as well,
I have always had this dream of having a community kitchen where it would be like a community event. You would have also um, animals there as well, like dogs and cats, and have yoga and have community events and have like a working kitchen where people can come in, and we bring in the community. Maybe they just got out of prison, and we help them get their feet on the ground, and then, or have therapy within like the community kitchen, where it's a hub of community where everybody can go, and you can have events there, and have I think it would be amazing to just have a place where people can go where they feel welcome.
No, I think that would be amazing. And if you think about it, a lot of the family dynamics is, at least in my family and my friends' families, is cooking in the kitchen with your mom, your grandmother. It's therapy, because you end up talking about things that you normally wouldn't be talking about.
Absolutely.
Because you have those intimate moments as you're cooking.
Yes.
And as well as, it's not just therapy, but it's also passing down, heritage. It's your grandmother telling you about this recipe that she learned from her grandmother, or my grandfather telling me how he does the grill of, well, my grandpa did it like this, and this is how you get it nice and juicy. Like, things of that nature is being passed on to, generational knowledge. That is important as well. And like I said, it also serves as therapy. So that idea of having that community kitchen and having it serve all those different aspects would be it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see it. Yeah.
It would be a place where people could go. We could have free classes. I mean, people's wallets are pretty thin these days.
Yeah, it's tough right now. Yeah.
It is very tough right now, and then the grocery bills just get harder and harder. My son went the other day with me, because I'm taking him with me to the grocery store, and he was like, and that's only because that's my only vacation away from them. And he was like, I can't believe how expensive everything is. I remember when that used to cost $1, and now it's $3. And
But the fact that he's noticing that, again, shows that he's money conscious, which is good. But it also shows that how much inflation and how much these products and prices have grown.
Yes.
For a younger child, or younger kid to realize these things, because normally they don't pay attention to prices and things like that. But for him to notice that, it had to be a drastic difference. Like, dang, like, if it was like 5 cents here or there, most kids wouldn't notice that.
Yeah.
But so again, it shows it is difficult times, but it's not impossible.
It's not. But we also have these amazing farmers markets and community events that actually happen out. And there's usually somebody there local with their amazing cuisine, whatever that might be, their local produce, whatever that might be, and also support your local cannabis growers. We have a lot of people that are coming in from all over the country to take over New Mexico, and we have amazing cultivators and farmers and agriculture people here. New Mexico is an agricultural state. Look at New Mexico State. It's I worked for New Mexico State. So it is one of the biggest producers of agriculture. So, we have to keep this alive. Otherwise, we are going to lose it, and our children are not going to know about this. So agriculture has always actually been very important in my life. So I did grow up on a farm. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Oh, no, you did not. No.
I grew up in Los Lunas, and we're very rural. The first thing I learned how to drive was a horse, and then a tractor.
Okay. That's farm life for you. That's for real. Yeah. One of the things I did want to touch on is, because one of the things that we promote, and that's very big for this show, BluRok Farms as a company, and any company that I deal with, is our focus is increasing BIPOC and women in the cannabis space and in agriculture as a whole. And if you look at the numbers across the board, not just here in New Mexico, but just across the national board of legal states, the number of entrepreneurship with Black, Brown, BIPOC, and women is extremely low in comparison to white men in this industry. I just wanted to get your take and your feel on how you're feeling here in New Mexico is, and has there been obstacles that you noticed that are in particular to you as a woman, especially a minority woman, versus some things that you might have seen with white men in this space?
A lot of people don't, because I am a woman. I'm a Hispanic woman. I'm a single mom. When people hear single mom, and then of course I'm a woman, they don't always take me seriously. So they think, oh, you make these cookies, they're not probably that good. You can't do, and then I have people that come back religiously to buy these cookies and get my edibles. And I have people that are avid smokers that smoke every single day. I'm one of those people. And they relax you. They're going to keep you going. Plus, you get a big bang for your buck. And I'm going to lift this up so you guys can see. This is the size of our edibles right here. So you're going to get your bang for your buck. You're going to be able to break this up a little bit.
Yeah, just to give comparison, this is a iPad, a large one. So those are big cookies. I just want you to put in perspective of those two together, and this wasn't very small in comparison to the iPad. So
so and when people treat me like that, I don't fall down, because I've been to my lowest point in life, okay? And nobody's ever gonna put me in that place again. My friend used to call me baby all the time. She would always say, don't put baby in the corner. And I'm not gonna be put in that corner ever again, because I've been there several times. I've been through a lot of abusive relationships in life, and I don't ever want to be there again. And none of you should ever take that as well, especially as a woman. We give birth to these men.
Yes. There is no me without women. Like, we need them. They're important aspects of our society. They're equal in every way. We should not treat them as otherwise. And if you are, that's an issue. Just because in certain situations they might not have the physical strength to knock you out, that doesn't mean that they're not strong.
Give me some time, I will knock you out.
But there are women that can too, so don't get it twisted either. But what I'm saying is, there's more than just strength in physical, actual strength. There's more strength in other areas, and that, like I said, that doesn't make them less than in any regard, and we shouldn't treat them in that way anyways. But that's just my take. But hey,
I used to be one of those women too that would just shut up as soon as a man spoke. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not that. And now I'm realizing the power of women and the coming of age of the feminist. And yes, I am a feminist. And I will stand up for myself. And so I kind of have navigated those areas where it was difficult at the time. I do want to say, when I walk into a room, most people think I am white, and I'm not, until I start talking and mention my last name and start talking about the things I like to cook. They're like, yeah. And so I've met a lot of racist people in my life that didn't realize that I was in the room and I was gonna say something, because I don't shy away from that anymore. So in fact, my kids tell me, shut up, Mom, you're gonna get a shot one day. And if I do get shot one day fighting for somebody else, then it was all worth it, because I was doing what was right by my heart.
No, and I just literally had an incident last weekend with somebody accusing me of stealing something that I did not steal. I've never stolen in my life. Like, that's not something I do. That's not, hey, I'm not here to judge anybody that does. That's not for me or there, but I don't. And this lady accused me of it out of a room full of other people. I was the only black man in the room, and my fiance was like, why would you assume that he stole it? And the woman said, because I walked by her. And I was like, but there's other people that have walked by you. There's other people standing closer to you right now, and you're not accusing them of it. And I was like, and then there was another gentleman there that saw me buy what I had, and I went to him. I was like, bro, you saw me walk by you and buy this. Can you tell her? And he didn't say nothing. And I'm like, because I remember buying it, walking past him, giving him the heads up, like, because I'm passing him. All right. I kept it moving. I'm like, bro, I'm not asking you to lie for me. I'm not asking you to, like, but just stand up and you can de-escalate this whole situation.
Exactly.
But he didn't do it. I had to show them, like, I had my receipt, but it was in my car. So I was like this whole situation could have been de-escalated by somebody standing up. One.
Yes.
And then the lady shouldn't accuse me because I was the only black person in the room. Because, like I said, there's other people that had the same item that I had that she was not accusing them of doing it, that were closer to her when she lost, quote unquote, this item. So I'm like, but anyways, but that's why I say it's important. It is important to speak up because, again, Emmett Till was killed in Texas because people didn't speak up.
Yes.
So, like, it can get to the point of that. I'm not saying my situation was nowhere near that. Again, don't conflate the two issues, but I'm just saying they can escalate to those points. And if somebody speaks up, that can save somebody's life. That can de-escalate a situation. That can help other people in the situation. And I'm not saying if somebody has a gun out on you, like, there's times and places for speaking out in situations.
Of
like,
course.
if it's a non-threatening situation to you, why not speak out?
Because we should. Because
exactly.
then if we want to see a change in this country, we have to do something about it. We can't stand back and let it continue to happen, because then we break out into wars that are like happening right now.
Israel and Palestine.
And it's sickening, and I don't want it to come to that. And we saw the racial rise when George Floyd was killed. And that's when I lost a lot of friends, and I realized they were all racist. And I was like, I've been surrounding myself with these people, and I had a lot of education to do myself. Education is always important when you're, especially with this incident with Israel and Palestine. I didn't really, I mean, I've studied a little bit, but I know way more than I want to know now.
Yes, same here. The same here. When that started, the Israel Palestine, people kept on asking me my take on it, and I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know enough to say one or another.
Exactly.
And I was like, but I would preface that by saying, don't use that as an excuse.
Exactly.
If you say that, then you must go research, and that's what I did. I was like, I don't know enough about this to give my opinion. That doesn't mean I still have to give you my opinion if I do know enough, but that tells me I'm ignorant on this topic. I need to do my research, and that's what I did. And that's what I suggest to anybody that says in those situations, well, I don't know enough about Black Lives Matter, what that really means, or what this historic references that people are bringing up in regards to Black people dying at the hands of cops. Well, then go do your research and validate the sources that you're getting this information from, and then formulate your opinion.
And when you become, it's disheartening when you finally do the research yourself, because then you realize how sad this country is, and some of the deplorable things that your people have had to go through. And I come from a Spanish background, and so yes, they did have some racism towards them, but more than likely they were the colonizer, or they were the colonizer. Not more than likely, the Spanish people were colonizers.
Spanish Inquisition.
Yes, and so, but I can do better. I can do better by what my ancestors did, and I can do better for the Black and Brown community, the Indigenous community.
Yeah.
If you think about it, these people that are stuck in Palestine right now are no different than what your people had to go through.
They're going,
what Japanese
oppression
internment.
Oppression is oppression. Oppression anywhere is oppression. It's horrible. It's deplorable. It's against humanity to put people in those conditions to be oppressed.
I don't also want to get this past. I am not anti-Semitic. I love my Jewish brothers and sisters.
And I would love to touch on that real quick, because by saying that you're against the horrendous things that are happening to the Palestine people does not mean that you're anti-Jewish or you're anti-Semitic. Those two things don't equate. Like, it's not just because I say I hope breast cancer gets they find a cure for breast cancer, that doesn't mean I hope the rest of the cancers don't get cures.
Exactly.
Like you can't equate those two things. And I feel like anybody that does that, you're not being very sincere, and you're not being, because we don't do that with anything else. Just because I say I like cookies, that doesn't mean I don't like brownies. Like, we don't do that with anything else, but in this particular discussion around certain things like this, if you say you're pro one thing, you're against the other. No, I'm pro humanity regardless. I don't want to see children dying. I don't want to see women dying. I don't want to see women raped. I don't want to see anybody die on either side. So I'm pro humanity, period. And in some cases, if you say that, they take it as it's anti-Semitic. No.
Yeah.
I'm pro people.
I'm pro human rights.
Yes.
I'm pro everybody should have their rights. I'm pro and justice for all.
Yes.
We recited that pledge every morning. I refuse to recite it now because not everybody in this country has justice for all, and not everybody has freedom. And I know that in the cannabis industry, majority of the people that are serving time for cannabis incidents are black men.
And on the flip side of that, the ones that are making the profit of it are not.
Yes.
So that is something that I feel like we do need to correct. But I do want to,
I apologize.
No. But I think it's important for us to be able to have the platform to be able to say these things, so that people can hear it from a perspective and from in the dialogue sense of we're having an honest conversation, but it's still rooted in we don't want malice. Like that's so like. And for people to see that and realize, like, okay, there are people that are pro people that are saying they, and it doesn't mean the negative on the other aspects. Yeah. So I think that's important to have.
I will always lead with love. Love is the most important thing in this world, and everybody deserves love, and everybody should have love. And so if you're not leading with your heart, then you're not leading the right way. It should all come from a place of empathy and love, because empathy, if you have no empathy, then it's really hard to see some of these people that do not have that empathy for others that are suffering, and they're cheering on this war or whatever it might be. And that goes for Ukraine as well. I mean, you know, I mean, and then there's also the one in the Congo that I just learned about. And so I'm
Congo, Haiti's having some issues as well.
Yes.
So like there's a lot going on in this world that there's some things that we can do something about, other things that we can't do anything about, outside of, you know, wishing and praying and hoping that these things work out. And
calling your congressman.
I was about to say that too. Actually
calling
your congressman. If you have the capacity and feel the inclination, run for your local boards. Because those are the things that are going to, and voting for the right senators and House of Representatives, all of government officials, voting for them that are making sure that they have your actual viewpoint in heart. So if you are pro-humanity and the laws, the aid, the things that they're funding does not suit what sits well in your heart, then you need to vote somebody in that is going to put the money in the areas that you deem important.
It's also important to research your candidates and also research where they're getting their funding from.
Yes.
Because if not, then some of them could be paid by dark money, and we've seen a lot of that on the right. And it happens on the left too.
Yeah, it happens on both sides.
Do not get me wrong.
It doesn't discriminate, but it is something, lobbying, and that is something that we have to keep in mind. I definitely agree.
Yeah. So, and I grew up in politics. My grandfather was a state representative for 36 years, and then he served on the school board for 29. My dad was also on the school board as well in Los Lunas, and so I grew up in a political family, and that was difficult in itself, with being a spotlight being put on me all the time.
I can't even imagine.
And so I think that's probably why I'm a little bit stronger now too, is because I had to gain that tough skin. You know, they talk. And my grandfather was a farmer, and he saw that something that needed change in the world, and he decided to run for office. I would love to run for office one day, but the political game has gotten so dirty that people are doxing people and telling people where they live, and I have to think about the safety of my children. So maybe down the line, you never know, you may see me run for office.
What?
The owner of Big Ass Cookies.
No, that would be amazing. I do want to go back to what we were saying about spending your dollar where that suits you, that the things that you gravitate to, and so that's why people should definitely go to Big Ass Cookies and patron her and pick up some of these cookies because, as we know, she's a mother that is really dedicated to this business and that is focused on this business. So we should spend our dollars where we determine is worth it. And I think everybody here will be based on this interview. They'll believe the same thing as I do, is that the cookies are definitely worth it, and that you should patron her business and help her succeed. Because not only is helping her succeed, as she stated, she wants to do all these other ventures that help others succeed as well. So she's not only opening the door for herself, she's keeping the door wide open for everybody else.
I want everybody to succeed. I want to shut down Walmart. I want to shut down Target. I want to shut down Amazon. And I know a lot of us small businesses use these platforms to purchase our products. I mean, I shop at Walmart all the time because that's the only place to get my products sometimes. But we need to shut down these corporations if we want to see any gains in this country. If we want to see any changes, we have to shut down these multi-billion-dollar companies that are killing our earth and killing our people and funding wars and funding bad politicians and funding people that want to keep us oppressed. Because even though I have a lighter color skin, doesn't mean that I'm not oppressed as a woman. I mean, Roe versus Wade that got taken away. So I mean, I'm done having children at this point. But everybody.
But you should still have the choice.
Exactly.
And that's the thing with that I can't understand is that is your body.
Well, also most men, not all men, want to keep us in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant, and I will never be there.
That's that old mentality of again not equal, but we have to see everybody as equal,
Exactly.
regardless of gender, sexual orientation, or race,
Yes.
or religion. Like none of those things should matter. Everybody is equal. If you're a human being, you are equal to everybody else. You're no better or no worse.
I don't care what your religion is, as long as you're a good person.
Yeah.
Be a good person. Practice those Christian faith that you're supposed to be following.
Yeah. So those are the things that I think that matter, and that's why I think people should patron your business. Can you let them know how they could buy some cookies?
Yes, so we are on Instagram. Instagram is the best place to find us.
Okay.
We are at Big Ass Cookies LLC on Instagram. We will have a website coming up next year, so you'll be able to purchase the cookies, and that would be nationwide. So
awesome.
Everybody would be able, within the United States. We'll figure out shipping and stuff to Canada soon, but that's going to take some time.
Gotcha.
You can buy your cookies wholesale from me by DMing me. You can also email me at oterolane@yahoo.com. Market season's about to end here, but you can always catch us at Downtown Growers Market. Rail Yards Market will be at the Rail Yards Holiday Market coming up in December. And we also do offer delivery now on Thursdays and Fridays.
Okay.
You can order from our menu that week, and I'll come and deliver. I mean, it'll personally be me, and because I don't have anybody else yet, and as soon as we do, it may be somebody else. But I
after
think
this interview, it will grow, and she'll have employees delivering that as well. So that's the goal.
But I also think it comes personal,
coming
from me, and then you get to speak with me, and then we get to talk and laugh, talk about the cookies and stuff like that. So,
no, that's awesome.
And so
personal touch, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the personal touch, and that's exactly what it is about Big Ass Cookies. It's the personal touch, the love, and exciting flavors that we have, because we are all about that inner child, and we want to heal one inner child at a time.
Awesome. So you guys should definitely patron her business and get some of these cookies, especially for the holidays. Christmas is going to be coming up. New Year's Eve is going to be coming up as well. So the Super Bowl is going to be coming up the following after the year. So definitely make sure you get some cookies, stock up, and be wise about your selections on how quickly you eat these big ass cookies. Because remember, some of them will be infused and some of them won't. So if the infused ones, remember the advice that we gave about going slow, slow. Small and slow is our slogan. Take a small piece and wait for a long period of time, or slowly increase the amount that you're going to eat over time. But yeah, definitely check them out on Instagram, as she said, Big Ass Cookies LLC on Instagram. DM them as well. Email her, and let's take it from there and keep on going.
So yeah, that's the best place to find us is on Instagram.
Okay.
So yeah, I post every week.
Awesome.
Where we'll be and where you can find us.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
So we end every interview with two standard questions. The first question is, if you had to pick a cultivar or a strain, uh, what would you be that would represent you, and what would the effects be? What would the name of it be, rather?
Oh.
And if you need some time to think, I'll go with mine's.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and go with yours while I think about mine.
And for today, because I've talked about Jelly Bean and Dream Queen as one of my favorite strains of all times, but today I will talk about a specific strain called Punch Cake. I really enjoy it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. Today I'm going to be Purple Punch.
Purple Punch.
The reason why that would be the cultivar that expresses me today is Purple Punch. For me, it has a in the couch feel, but it still leaves me creative. And that's kind of the mode that I've been in the last couple of days is this creative vibe. I've been creating a lot of different things, thinking about crosses and different products and strains that I'm creating. And getting my flow together, and I just feel like my creative flow is really, really going well this week. And so that's why I would pick Purple Punch as my cultivar that represents me, and because the effects of, like I said, it makes me relax but still creative.
I'm actually going to choose Gorilla Glue.
Okay, yes, I'm familiar with that.
Gorilla Glue is a very relaxing, but I can still maintain. And it's kind of the same concept where I can still be creative, I can still be up there, but if I need to be, I can also fall asleep.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it kind of is the best of both worlds, where I'm kind of like in the clouds, floating, but I can still be a Care Bear.
Got you. Okay. I got you. Okay.
And yeah.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. And Gorilla Glue, I do like growing it. I don't have a problem smoking it as much, but I do like growing it because it is a large producer, and it's not very finicky. It's pretty easygoing, as in setting its inputs for.
Some of them can be
grow.
a little crazy, where I'm like, okay, I couldn't even function.
Yeah,
I'm out like a light.
Yep. No, I really like that. And the last question that we always end with is, what does Free the Plant, Free the People mean to you?
It's going back to what I was saying a while ago, is that most people that are serving time for cannabis-related offenses is black men. And so Free the Plant means free it from any regulations. Let us do our thing. Let us heal. Let us find healing elements that may heal cancer. But let's also get all these black men and women out of prison for plant. A plant. It's not a drug. And I've heard this quote from somebody. I don't know the exact person that said it, but they said, cannabis is an exit drug. It is not a gateway drug. Yep. And that's because a lot of users, people that are coming out of recovery, are using cannabis as a way to recover and to heal, and to also not be using other drugs such as heroin. And now we have fentanyl to worry about. But yeah, I think it's freeing the plant without any regulations. And I think that people are super excited about cannabis being there, because now it's another moneymaker for them. And it shouldn't be about that. It should be about freeing it for everybody to be able to utilize it the way they need to. I don't see any negative effects. I've never seen anybody overdose on a plant.
Nobody has.
And recorded history. But I've seen lots of overdoses on fentanyl and heroin. Yeah. And so I don't want to see that. And this is a way for us to heal, especially with the United States having really bad healthcare.
Yeah, healthcare, depression, loneliness is, I think, they're saying that's becoming an epidemic with young men in particular.
Well, because they're always staring at their phone. I have 3 teenagers to that fact, and so sometimes I have to like coax them out of their room because it can get very depressing. I mean, it can. And then we're in the midst of winter here where
Yeah.
seasonal depression will kick in. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
And if you need help, please reach out. Okay?
No, definitely.
Do not hesitate to reach out. I will sit and talk with you. I'll listen to you. So, please reach out.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I want to say thank you again for doing this interview.
Thank you for having me.
It was a great conversation. I hope the viewers really enjoy it. Like I said, definitely go patron her business. Make sure you spend your money wisely with people that are trying to do good and that are doing good. So Valerie would be one of the persons that I would definitely recommend that you commerce her business. And like I said, patron. So thank you again to Valerie Otero from Big Ass Cookies. So definitely check her out. Like I said, go to Instagram, Big Ass Cookies LLC. Don't forget that LLC. It makes a difference.
It does, because there's another Big Ass Cookies on there, but it doesn't look like they're in business anymore, and I don't know how to get rid of their handle because they don't exist. But unfortunately, that's something Instagram has to take care of. But remember that LLC.
Keep that LLC in there. So thank you again for watching another episode of Free the Plant, Free the People, presented by BluRok Farms. If you need a medical cannabis card, definitely visit Leafwell and use the code BluRok Farm 10, and you'll get 10% off getting your card. As well, always visit BluRok Farms for your CBD needs. We will have our cannabis operation going soon, so definitely stay on the lookout for that. But again, thank you for listening to another episode, and relax.